Scale is an interesting word. It's thrown around pretty loosely today. If you read any news on tech startups or you follow any of those trends, there's always mention of scaling and then some crazy graph with a straight up vertical sales trajectory. And that's usually what people think of when they think of scale these days. We as professionals, if we had access to unlimited capital and a desire to expand that much, we could show the same sales growth, but I'm a firm believer that that's not what any of us want. So, the real question we should be asking is, what does scale look like for an actual bookkeeping or accounting business? I always like to look up traditional definitions when kind of talking about these topics. So if you actually look up scaling in the dictionary, you're going to get a whole host of definitions around lizard skin and actual weight scales. But there was one definition that I found that really stuck out that I think is worth sharing, and that is scale is something that's graduated, especially when used as a measure or a rule, such as an indication of the relationship between distances on a map and actual distances. And so it's a little bit of a wordy definition, but there's two words that really stuck out to me, and those were graduated and relationship. And the reason that these stuck out to me is because I think they're really key terms when we're talking about scaling bookkeeping and accounting businesses. When I talk to professionals, and we talk to a lot, bookkeepers or accountants or business consultants in the accounting field, most of them are feeling pretty tired, pretty stressed, pretty burnt out. Probably, especially right now, here in Canada, it's personal tax filing deadline is on Saturday. So people are really in the thick of it right now. The US, I know, just they're on the back end of theirs. They just finished, I believe, mid-month. And so I'm sure everybody that is on this live session right now can relate to that. So really, all the professionals that we talk to are constantly working against the clock. They're fighting deadlines. They're trying to deal with multiple client requests at a given point in time. And, there's the never ending tax season, especially the last 2 to 3 years. It's just with every change during COVID, it's just deadlines, extensions, all of that stuff. It's just never ending. And so when I think about what professionals want when they talk about scale, I think it's really code for, we want structure, simplicity, and just relief from the pressure. You don't want to be so overwhelmed or so busy. And that's where I think that the terms graduated and relationship really become key terms, because scale is, by that definition, simply a measure between two things. There's a relationship between two things. And then scale is also graduated. So while also talking about growth that can be massive, that vertical upward trend, keep in mind, it doesn't have to be. It can be just incremental. So if we professionals want to scale, meaning structure, simplicity, relief, getting rid of that overburden, we really have to figure out the relationship between that end goal and what is actually required to get us there. We need to really think about that. So that's where the relationship piece comes in. We also need to realize that not everybody needs vertical hockey stick growth. We can actually have that progression to where we are and where we want to get to, and it can be gradual. That is the other key term that I picked out. Everybody thinks that success at scale has to be immediate. It has to be right now. And the reality is it could be that, or it could be 10 years. It really matters in terms of what you want to do. So the point there is that scale and progression can be incremental. It can be gradual.